Alrighty, we're back again with another episode of Roofer Reflections. I'm really excited to have Brad back. I love these like checking back in type episodes. Brad, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome, awesome. So the last time we talked, you were leading, a Beldon, roofing group, roofing company, and you've been doing it for a very long time. And since then, what has changed?
So I'm third generation. Our family business would have been 80 years in January 2nd. And April 15th of last year, we decided to sell the business to Progressive Roofing. And exactly 90 days after that date, we were acquired by Top Build. So we went from a family business to Wall Street in exactly 90 days. So it's been quite a journey. I'm learning that Wall Street is not a family business.
Interesting. So what was your day-to-day, when you were running the company, and what does it look like now?
So in running a business, you're involved in every discipline that occurs, right? You're involved in making the phone ring, you're involved in production, you're involved in sales, you're involved in HR, you're involved in legal. You almost touch every tentacle of the company. What fascinates me and what I find exciting in what I do today is we have subject matter experts in all those disciplines. And I can become laser focused in what I do, and what I'm doing is M&A work. And I become laser focused, and I only have to worry about being the best that I can be in M&A. And so it's completely different than what I've built my whole career around.
What does it take to be good at what you're doing now? What are the fundamentals you learned?
That's a really good question. There's certainly different than being a CEO, because being a CEO, you're provided with not all the information, whether it's 50% of the right information or 90%. You have to use your experience and your knowledge. And then you have to make a decision, and then you have to 2 weeks, 4 weeks, a year later, remember why you made that decision. And then you have to learn from those decisions. In M&A, it's completely different, right? Because in M&A, you go into the company and you start analyzing it as if you were the CEO and looking for the synergies and looking for, is this the right fit? Is this the right cultural fit? Is this the right company that I want to partner with? Because at the end of the day, building trust in Wall Street, it takes 9 quarters to rebuild trust, right? So if you partner with the wrong company, if you acquire the wrong company and you bring in the wrong culture and you disrupt that, it takes time to rebuild that trust within the market.
What type of business do you spend your time looking for? You said, the culture and whatnot. How do you describe it to people?
So really, it's a culture of integrity, entrepreneurship. It is a family culture. It's a family business, right? Taking care of the people, taking care of your internal customer and your external customer. If the people that we're looking at aren't taking care of their internal customer, they're certainly not going to take care of their external customer. And everybody that we've partnered with has been aligned with that focus. And that's the type of company and it's just not us that's looking for, and that's the type of company that I think everybody's looking for, right? Is who do you trust, right? Because what worries me is once you've partnered, I'm protecting the brand legacy of every company in that company. And by partnering, bringing in a new company, I have to raise that bar. I can't let that bar slip, right? So every company that we acquire has to be, almost a house of brands, right? Even better than what we had before. And that's hard because sourcing that right company and finding them at the time in which that family is ready to exit, it's difficult to do.
Yeah, for sure. Timing. For you, when did you know it was the right time?
Well, what we started to see in our marketplace, and I'm sure others are seeing it as well, is many PE firms in the marketplace were becoming disruptive. And I have a lot of friends that were in the MEP world, and I watched what happened to their businesses. And I met with our management team and said, hey, look, we can either be affected by change or we can affect change, right? It's two different approaches. And we concluded that affecting change was a better strategic move than being affected by change. And so what we did was we went out into the marketplace and said, hey, who are the best partners for Beldon Roofing Company? And so we controlled that narrative. And that's a little bit different than having, all of us were getting phone calls, as does everybody today, right? You get so many phone calls every week. And so, is that company selling you a bunch of BS, or are they honest? What is it all about? We narrowed it down to 4 or 5 potential people that wanted to acquire us. And when we met the team at Progressive, we realized that they're so much culturally aligned. It didn't feel like I was going to work for somebody. I was going to work with somebody. And I think that many of the people in our organization would agree with that. Now, don't get me wrong, change happens, right? You can't create synergies if you're not willing to make change. And as I explained to Nick, our CEO today, what I thought I knew this much about roofing, right? What I really only knew about maybe this much or even a little bit more, because you get really good at the 5 or 8 things that you focus on every day, and what your father taught you, what your grandfather taught you. But you don't realize that there are other ways to accomplish the same goal. And there are other ways to sell a roof. There are other ways to have a preventive maintenance program. There's so many different ways to look at business that until you become exposed to that, you really don't have knowledge of it, right? And by partnering with another firm who'd also partner with other firms, you're getting all that knowledge at the table. And to me, it's made us a better company.
Name me one thing that you've done a certain way and now realize maybe there's an alternate way that you prefer now.
I think that the way that we estimate is far superior than what we've done in the past. And I get up every day invigorated that one change can make a huge difference in our trajectory of growing our business from what it was when we were acquired to what we hope and aspire for it to be down the road.
Looking at the industry perspective, what have you sort of gained in terms of insight or otherwise?
Well, I think that what you learn when you have a bunch of smarter people in the room is there are different assemblies that we never looked at, right? We became so entwined with doing the systems the same way every time and became very proficient, very good at that. But not every system is the right system for every building. And what we've learned in the last year is there are better systems that serve the end user well that we never even evaluated, right? There are manufacturers that we didn't evaluate because as a small family business, well, we weren't a small family business, but as a family business, you get so entwined with partnering with a select number of people because you can only spread so much volume of business. And when that happens, you lose focus on there are other ways to solve problems, right? And so it's opened my eyes to different methods, even how do you load a roof? How far apart do you put the rolls? I mean, stuff that we never thought through in our business. And you're learning, that 1% daily improvement, which you and I have talked about multiple times, right? I'm constantly looking at 1% compounded annually is a huge difference. And looking for that little nugget every single day on how do you get better at that? How do you get better at this? One of the funny things is my wife overheard me listening to a YouTube video. I don't read. I'm not very good at reading. That's one of my weaknesses, but I watch a lot of videos because I learn differently. And she said, "What are you listening to?" And I'm like, "It's how to fold your laundry, how to get more in a suitcase." And she's like, "You got to be kidding me." I'm like, I'm trying to improve every aspect of my life. She said, you're worried about how much stuff you get in the suitcase? Well, yeah, I mean, you learn, right? You travel and you realize after you've lost so much luggage, then you try and figure out how do you not check your bags, right? And so that 1% constant improvement doesn't just stop at that work, right? It's how do you get better in life at everything that you do, and how do you save time for the things that are important to you? And work isn't the end to everything, right? You know, we go to work to provide a means and income to support the things that are important to us. That's it, right? That's where work stops. And I think if you, in a family business, sometimes you lose focus of that, because when I was in the family business, I was there 6 days a week and half a day on Sunday, right? And at my age, I realized, you know, I'm on the wrong side of 50, right? And I got a 6 in front of mine now. And at 61, you know, my life, I don't have that many years left, whether it's 30, 40, maybe only 20 productive. And how do I spend more time with the things that are more important to me than just running a business, right? There are things in the community that are important to me. My family is important to me. My granddaughter is important to me. One more on the way. But there, as you get older, you start to gain a different perspective on what really is important, right? Was it important that I operated a 79-year family business? I don't think so. I think what was important was the number of meals that we provided every single day to all those individuals. That what was important. And at Top Bill, we were running the numbers the other day. It's close to 200,000 meals a day in our organization per day. Think about that. The impact that each one of us has on ensuring that 200,000 meals are generated every single day. Just the simple thing of life of just eating, right? I mean, food, shelter, and water, we're providing one of those three. And then on a daily basis, we're providing, because we're doing that, we're providing the shelter. So we're covering 2 of the 3 necessities to have life. And it's kind of cool to be part of that, right? Is to be part of that from 2 different perspectives. One is the leadership team at our company, and to be able to see what we can do to change the lives of others. But what are we doing to change the lives of all the other people that are associated with our entity, the bigger entity? It's just really cool. I mean, I get up every single morning invigorated. I love what I do. I never thought working for somebody would be fun. I've been doing this for 40 years, right? And I was wrong. You can have fun. You can get up every morning working for a cause that's bigger than what your small family business was.